Hello everyone. Happy Thursday. I hope you all are having a great week. So Invincible Season 3, Episode 4, we're off with another banger, shooting 4 for 4. I am so happy with how this season is going and the momentum that it's been building from the first episode. I'm really hoping that the latter half of this season keeps up the pace, keeps up the storytelling, because I really want to see where everything goes. I feel like we are juggling the storylines very well this season. This is how we follow up to a post-credit scene, people. They learned from last season, because last episode we had a post-credit sequence that followed Alan and Omni-Man, and so what happened in this week's episode? We got a 2-for-1, which honestly felt great for me. I didn't feel like it was awkward when they transitioned from one story to the next, so I really appreciated how it was done. I think the narrator was the key, because if we remember last season when Mark and Amber did the diddly-do, the narrator came in and was like, oh, we gotta leave him alone, and then it cuts to Alan the alien, or I think it's like cutting back and forth because they're both doing the do. In this season, or this episode, when Mark and Eve do the dilly do, same narrator, and then we cut to Alan and Co. So I really appreciated that. My biggest criticism, I would say, I feel like we spent too much time reiterating what we already know concerning Alan and Omni-Man. Like, the latter half of the episode is like 20 minutes. I swear to you, we spend 10 of 20 minutes just going over what we already know. Omni-Man's in prison. He's about to be executed for his betrayal. Okay. Alan the alien is also in prison. He doesn't want Omni-Man to be executed. He wants him to escape, join the cause. Omni-Man's like, no, I still love my family and I'm having a crisis of faith. That's the whole deal for like the first 10 minutes. So I was just kind of like, can we get this started? And then they do. And when they do not let up. And I was here for it the entire way through. Battle Beast! I was so excited to see Battle Beast. Like, I was so happy to see him again. Like, when they panned up, like, when I saw his hand, I was like, oh, it's my boy! It's my boy Battle Beast! My boy Battle Beast! Oh my god. Oh, yes! And then he just went ham. And then him and the Viltrumites continuing the fight in space is so funny. I hope at the end of the season we get a cutback and they're still fighting in space. I would absolutely love that. There's this other moment when Omni-Man and Alan are fighting a Viltrumite, because Omni-Man ends up escaping. And so they basically two-team this guy. And then they go like, shoo! And the Viltrumite's head is right in the middle. And I was like, the music is building, so I'm very scared on what's about to happen. I feel like he's gonna go through someone's intestines. Ah! Yeah. Okay. Oh. They've never been ones to shy away from the grotesque violence that exists within the comics. It's really what it's known for, if anything, just off of visuals. So I'm happy they did not let up, because, I mean, it was jaw-dropping. I was like, oh, okay. Wow. But let's go to the first half of this episode, which I also really enjoyed. We spend a lot of it with Mark and Eve sitting in a tree, like, oh my goodness, they were on their date. I enjoyed how the scene from them in Paris pretty much played out how it did in the books, as far as Fight Master and Dropkick coming back to take Mark away. So I loved Mark and Eve this episode. They were just too cute. Them both saying they love each other. I said, oh, okay. But at least they acknowledged that it was too soon. But let me just say, outside of all that, okay, Mark had to have taken the worst field trip of his life this episode. They literally took this man to the future to kill another man and then come back home. Like, what in the world? So Mark is at crosshairs again, going through this dilemma continuously, just trying to understand if he's really a good person or not, because he's constantly put in these situations where he has to exert, this strength that he's almost afraid of, and he's like, oh, I don't want to kill you, and so I'm going too fast. But he goes to the future. I loved the build up to the king of this earth. And when my guess was either Mark or another person who's kind of a spoiler from the book, so I can't really say who that is. But I was semi-right. So they threw a little red herring there. Immortal turned out to be the king, but it turns out Mark left him to rule, which is very interesting. They did not really touch on that, and I hope they do. But nonetheless, Immortal's like, look, I want to die. Like, I'm so done. I'm so done. And instead of finding any other way out of this situation, you force a 19-year-old Mark to kill you. Real great, Immortal. And you want to call something a cowardice or a cowardly way to go. You are a coward for forcing this man to kill you when you had every other option as far as like leaving and just ridding yourself of this. But yeah, so Mark does all that, and the death sits with him. But okay, I'm still going too fast because I didn't even talk about what happened before that. So Mark follows up on the surveillance device that we see in the last episode. And so all Robot Man can tell him is it's of Earth origin and sophisticated. So immediately Mark is like, oh yeah, it's Cecil, duh. So he barges back into the Pentagon. I'm like, Mark, just think, like, just slow down. Cooler heads prevail. He really has got to get the emotions in check. I know things are still hot with Cecil, but good golly. So of course, he busts in there. And Cecil's like, what the hell are you doing here? Of course, he enacts the emitter again, not in his head this time, but it was in the wall. And so Mark accuses him of spying on him. And, after Cecil denies it and then Mark leaves, we find out that, they are spying on the Graysons, but not with the surveillance tech that we saw in the last episode, which honestly, I thought so. It would be weird if he weren't keeping a tab on the Graysons. So yeah. I'm trying to think. I think that was it. This episode flew. Like, it was a 40 to 50 minute episode, and it did not feel like it. And I don't know, I feel like that was a good thing because I had a good time with it. It didn't feel sluggish. I enjoyed the action definitely in the second half of the episode because there was literally just more action there. But I did enjoy Mark and Immortal's fight. It was interesting to see this different side of Immortal who's just almost like worthy of pity. Like, I don't know. He's just a sad creature. Yeah, so the one thing I want to follow up on is Mark leaving him to rule the earth. So, but I will say, in connection with that, I did appreciate how Eve reassured Mark, like, look, what you saw, that's not us. Not anymore, at least. Like, that is not who we are. We're not destined to take that path. And I really appreciated that because I feel like Mark really needed to hear that in that moment. But he's going to still struggle with this idea of like whether or not he's really a good person, how far is too far, like, yeah. But I'm here for it. I don't think I have anything else. So yeah, let me know what you guys think. I don't think I'm going to do an in-depth review because I feel like I covered everything. But if I miss anything, I don't know. It is what it is. But yeah, let me know what you think or don't. But either way, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. I'll catch you guys later.